Yo, Sanjay Uchiha here, people. What's going on? So I know it's been like forever and a day since since I last uploaded. I'm sorry for that, honestly. Like I've been so busy and things have just been crazy recently in terms of work schedule. But I'm sorry for that. The channel is not dead, so yeah, there's that. But anyway, still be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into this. Boruto chapter 26 finally dropped over the weekend. I believe it was yesterday, if not Saturday. And this chapter actually took longer to come out than usual, but unfortunately it's the same amount of pages, so yeah. But anyway, thanks for the support. Let's get right into it. So honestly, chapter 26 definitely has some interesting developments that, I mean, on one side it could have been predicted, I suppose, but I personally didn't expect this. So when we left off with chapter 25, the decision was made to bring Kawaki into the village. Chapter 26 starts off and we see a flashback basically by Kawaki as we see Jigen bringing him into a certain part of his secret lair or wherever, where they bump up into this guy. I wish I've forgotten his name, but whatever. I guess we'll find more about him later on, where we see a bunch of bodies. I wouldn't want to say clones, but they seem to be young boys basically in these kind of like capsules with some tentacles going from some jars, probably some chakra tentacles going up to them. And this guy asks if this is the last child. Jigen makes note that, you know, yeah, and he'll be sure to give Kawaki something special once they truly become parent and child. Alright, so that's the beginning. Now the thing is, with Kawaki finally in the village, plans are being put in place to essentially lure out and find out more about what Kara intends to do, their intentions basically. So being that the shinobi villages are at peace, Naruto basically pulls off probably what seems to be the norm these days for the 5 Kage to meet. so there's that. So which I thought was a good move on his part to get all the Kage involved. So at the end of the day, Naruto seems to intend to lure Kara out by keeping Kawaki in the village, but not confined, which I thought was a plus, considering that, you know, all the things Naruto has been through. Characterization wise, it would go against all that he's been through if he had decided to keep Kawaki confined in, well, at some location or, you know, locked out from everybody. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, Shikamaru talks to Naruto in this chapter and brings up a valid point that, you know, we don't know, you know, how strong these guys are, and it's not just them themselves personally have to think about. They have to think about the village. So keeping Kawaki in the village may not be secure. But Naruto also brings up the point that if they're strong, that he's the best person suited to basically protect Kawaki. So I think it's a, you know, a 50-50 kind of situation, which I'm interested to see how it plays out, because no matter how you slice and dice it, it's going to be, I guess narratively speaking, with this story, whenever Kawaki decides to quote-unquote kill Naruto, it will impact us as readers more to see how their relationship develops over the course of the next 2 to 3 years in story. So that was a good move, I'd say. And even the flashback Kawaki has, or the dream flashback he has in the beginning, I love that as well. You know, every chapter, well, for the last 2 chapters, they've been basically saying things that they've dropped little, you know, sugar coatings, little, you know, breadcrumbs, not giving us an entire loaf of bread, but just something to, you know, keep the suspense, keep interest, which I definitely love that they've been doing for the last few chapters. But anyway, so Naruto decides to keep him in the village, be his personal bodyguard. Of course, Kawaki tries to escape. No use. Naruto is still you couldn't expect anything less. But anyway, so Naruto decides to bring him home. It's going to be an interesting dynamic seeing how things play out, because now Kawaki's in a situation where he's basically has to develop some kind of working relationship with Naruto, Hinata, Boruto, and Himawari. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that whole dynamic plays out. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't say we got a lot this chapter, but just the situations, the setting that the characters were in, and the connections to these characters, especially Kawaki. This was it kind of felt like a more of a setup chapter, honestly. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel that next month we're gonna see more on the Kara side of things as opposed to this chapter. So there's that. Another interesting tidbit that we got during the 5 Kage meeting was more on Kawaki's nature as a cyborg, in terms of explaining how he can basically transform his body, which I found to be very interesting, a very unique addition to the plot here. Now, it wasn't like I theorized a few chapters ago, if not last chapter, where I thought his powers were similar to Jugo's, being, influenced by natural energy, but that's not the case at all. So apparently his cells can divide at a ridiculous rate and soften at a ridiculous rate. I forgot the term sclerosis and malacia. I believe those were the 2 terms I saw in the translation that I read. So definitely interesting. Nice getting some context behind Kawaki's powers. There's that. Another interesting tidbit I found with this chapter is the power scaling where Jigen is concerned. So Kawaki tries to escape at one point from Naruto's house, and Naruto goes 6 parts Tail Beast Sage mode, and Kawaki goes on to point that he has an absurd amount of power and that he just might be stronger than Jigen. I'll probably, well, no, nothing probably. I'll do a video on this, kind of discussing more in depth what that means, but honestly, just to kind of, get an initial thoughts out there, this simply means that Jigen is ridiculously powerful, and I hope they explain how he got this powerful. And basically, just the background of Kara, I need to find out more, honestly, because if Jigen is somewhere relative to Naruto now, that means he's at least Hashirama level, and that's definitely lowballing it. But yeah, more on that in that video. So there's that. Of course, Boruto comes in at the end to, of course, find out the surprise that Kawaki is living with him now. Naruto explains the situation to him. Of course, it seems like it's going to start off to a rocky start for their little relationship. Kind of seems similar to the whole Naruto Sasuke vibe back in the day, but it's going to be very interesting. But the chapter basically ends there. So as I said, in the grand scheme of things, not much this chapter, but just the developments and the setting that the characters are placed in, and the fact that who they have connections to in the future in terms of their actions and, the organization. So definitely the pacing was good. Well, it was okay based on, as I said, the setting. Of course, characterization where Naruto is concerned, definitely a plus. Dropping little hints here and there to keep us, keep up the suspense, keep up the interest where Kawaki's flashback is concerned. Of course, just seeing Kawaki being placed in a situation where with Naruto, and just seeing them, plant the seeds of things, how things may develop with Kawaki and Naruto going into the future, just kind of building their relationship from here to the eventual point where things go sour, just for more narrative weight at the end of the day, which I definitely love. I love how they set that up. Jigen's power, a little tidbit. With that being said, it does add some credibility to the threat that Kara may pose, although at this point we still don't know their plans, what they intend to do, even though I did do a video on, probably that Kara's probably preparing for a war with Otsutsuki clan, but we'll see how it goes from there. But anyway, Sancho, Uchiha, rate, comment, subscribe, let me know what you thought about this review / little discussion, I guess, and I'll see you guys in the next one.